Welcome to Chillix Recap Studio. Today, we're diving into a 2018 thriller, action, and sci-fi film. Spoiler alert. Now, sit back, chill, and relax. The film starts in a school cafeteria on what seems to be an ordinary day, until a little girl named Grace is sitting frozen, when her eyes glow and the can she is holding is crushed without her moving a muscle. Grace falls over and dies. Grace was the first of many children to die from a disease that would become known as idiopathic adolescent acute neurodegeneration, or IAN. The President Gray addressed the country on how his son has survived as a result of a cure they are testing out on infected children. Ruby on her birthday is celebrating with her parents. At night, Ruby goes into her parents' room and touches her mom and dad's hands, at which point Ruby's infection appears to manifest. In the morning, Ruby goes into the kitchen, but Molly doesn't recognize her or know who she is. Despite Ruby's pleas, Molly locks her in a garage and waits for authorities to come and take Ruby away. Ruby is brought to a camp, Thurmond, which is housing all the surviving infected children. One of the children attempts to flee, only for armed guards to hold him down. He uses his mind control power to cause one of the guards to shoot themselves before the others detain the young man. Ruby is then brought to a testing facility where her powers, mind manipulation, classify her as an orange. The doctor testing her tries to inject something into her, but she touches his arm and has him classify her as green. Ruby spends the next 6 years at Thurmond with other green, blue, and yellow kids, but there are no reds or oranges because they were considered too dangerous. They are lorded over by the cruel Captain McManus and his band of mercenaries. The officers at Thurmond are testing a new subatomic frequency that causes the kids to recoil in agony and makes Ruby pass out. Ruby wakes up in a bed spoken to by a Dr. Kate Begbie. She is significantly friendlier to Ruby than anyone else at Thurmond, and she wants to help Ruby. Kate leaves and slips Ruby a note saying that the others know she is orange and that they are planning to kill her, so she tells Ruby to meet her in the boiler room. After doing so, Kate helps Ruby escape the facility just as the officers are looking for Ruby. Kate gives Ruby a tracking device to use in case they get separated. They meet at a gas station with Kate's boyfriend Rob. Ruby slips, and Rob catches her, which lets her catch a glimpse into his memories, showing that he was among those who roughly handled the infected kids and presumably did bad things to them. She goes into the store and sees Zoo, who manipulates electrical currents and does so to try and get away from Ruby. She runs after Zoo, trying to get away from Kate and Rob. Ruby pleads with Zoo to let her inside the van. The other two guys in the van, Liam and Chubbs, are nervous when they see Ruby in there, thinking she was sent to apprehend them, but she tells them she's agreeing. As they continue to drive, they are pursued by a tracer known as Lady Jane. Kate and Rob also attempt to catch up. Ruby takes the wheel as Liam uses his power to pull trees and cause debris to send the cars off-road. The kids stop driving, and Ruby attempts to leave so she can go home, but Liam stops her and says they are heading to the East River, which supposedly holds a compound where infected kids can stay, rest, and eat. McManus finds out that Ruby has escaped, and he kills one of the doctors who studied her. He orders the tracers to go after her. Ruby, Liam, Zoo, and Chubbs continue their journey, stopping in a mall for supplies. They are then trapped by other superpowered kids who think they are tracers. After explaining themselves, the other kids allow Ruby and her friends to stay for the night. In the morning, they are ambushed by Lady Jane. Before she can take the kids in, Ruby grabs her hand and forces her to walk away with her mind. This works but also makes Ruby pass out, and the others realize she's an orange. At EDO, the kids meet Clancy Gray, son of the president who was previously going around saying he's been cured, when in actuality, he just escaped the facility he was housed in and is providing refuge for other escaped children. He turns out to be an orange as well, and he spends private time with Ruby so that he can help her harness her full potential, but Liam doesn't like how close they are getting. In secrecy, Clancy is messaging McManus. Clancy takes Ruby around the compound so that she can test the strength of her abilities. Chubbs later tells Ruby how he feels the compound is no different than the camps they were at due to all the rules they have to follow. Ruby goes to Clancy to ask if Chubbs can use his computer to contact his parents, but Clancy refuses for thinking that Chubbs may give away their present location. Instead, Clancy wants to figure out how Ruby can erase people's memories by stepping into her mind. He then tries to force himself onto her to try and erase that memory, but she pushes him off. That night, Captain McManus and his goons show up to round up the kids. Clancy emerges as the ringleader of the whole thing. Ruby makes McManus shoot himself in the head as Zoo goes to hit the lights to zap the other tracers with electricity. The kids run for it, but more tracers descend upon the compound and unleash the Reds, who breathe fire at everyone. Ruby and her friends get away, but Chubbs is hurt badly. The next morning, Chubbs is unconscious. The kids are found by Kate, Rob, and other officers, who bring them to the League. Kate goes into Ruby's room to convince her to stay with them and help change things since she is so strong and rare among the other kids. When Rob steps in, Ruby manipulates his thoughts so he can leave her alone. Ruby wants them to let Liam go so that he won't have to kill for them. She goes into Liam's room and spends one last moment with him before she kisses him and erases all his memories of her. Thus, he is free to go and follow his own path. Liam runs off on his own. Kate brings Ruby to a stadium full of kids as she prepares to lead them toward a new future. That's it for this recap. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Thanks for watching.